Clinics. In this episode, we're going to be in Designer, and we're going to be defining device types that CATS and JMRI will recognize. This is a necessary step before we set up signals or turnouts. So let's go to the workstation on the Windows machine. So I'm sharing our project layout in Designer, and if I were going to define sensors for a piece of track, basically the process that we'll discuss in the next episode will be going in and selecting a track end under details, going to track ends, define blocks again, and we'll be going down here to occupied report and unoccupied report. And the default is none. There's actually nothing else in that menu. And today we're going to configure JMRI so that it understands what kind of hardware we're going to be attaching to CATS and JMRI in order to receive input information and be able to output information. So I'm going to cancel out of there, and we want to go under devices down to JMRI devices. This gives us a list of all of the supported devices within JMRI. You can see among those, there's CMRI, which is a common infrastructure that's used for controlling model railroads. EasyDCC. Going down a little bit, we've got LocoNet, which is Digitrax. There's some NCE stuff down here, etc. There's Lens. And there's these prefixes that we're going to be using in the next section for defining occupancy detection. And similarly, there's devices for sensors, for turnouts, for throwing turnouts and for controlling signals. So we need to tell JMRI which brands we're using, and it will use those selections to populate that menu that we just looked at that was empty. The reason they don't do that by default is if they gave you this whole list in that menu, that would waste a lot of your time navigating that menu every time you wanted to attach a sensor to a piece of track. So I'm in the Digitrax camp, so I'm going to use LocoNet. So down here I have LocoNet sensors, which have a prefix of LS. L for LocoNet, S for sensor. So that's going to be used for occupancy. I'm also going to use LT, which is for turnouts, LocoNet turnouts. Now, some people may have a mix of multiples. I know people that are using CMRI for one use, and then they're using LocoNet for another. I have another friend that's using NCE and LocoNet. So you can use a couple different combinations. So you need to check the brand that you're using so you can get that in there. Now, if we go back to where we were before and we say details, track ends, define block, now we can see the LT and the LS are populated and available for use. If all those had been in there, this menu would be really long. So that's all we have in this episode. We're going to come back next time and we're going to actually do the detection connections. Thank you.